All right, let's kick it up a notch. I'm going to talk a little bit about the next CEO. The next CEO is honestly one of my favorite CEOs that I've met. Why? Because he has the most diversified background of any other CEO I've met. His work span goes from oil and gas, all the way to trade, all the way to healthcare, all the way to developments and real estate. And it is my absolute pleasure to welcome on stage Gautam, which is the CEO of King Abdullah Financial District. Gautam, the stage is yours. Nice to have you with us, Gautam, as always. And may I add, he's always well dressed up.
Oh.
But apart from that...
You always say the right things.
There we go, starting already on a golf note. Let's just start by explaining what King Abdullah Financial District is for those that do not know it, and then we'll dive deeper into it.
So if you want it in one sentence, what KAFD is, our ambition is to create the prime destination for business and lifestyle in the region. Mm-hmm. And how do we achieve that? We achieve that by really creating this 24/7 smart district that is cognitive, 10-minute city, where everything that you need to work, to live, to be entertained is within 10 minutes of where you live or work. So that's really our ambition in a summary. But if I were to say what is KAFD physically, it's spread across an area of 1.6 square kilometers. Okay. Today we have 95 buildings, and includes 3 hotels, and they're all filling up. We've got a very strong interest both from the office component, from residential. We have residences, 984 apartments that we are leasing out at the moment. So we've got a pretty big wait list of people who want to work and live in the same community. Mm-hmm. And we have retail, very high-end F&B coming in, and we'll have entertainment options as well, amenities that the residents need.
So basically, as a resident, you can work there, you can go to the gym there, enjoy your F&B, and at the same time not need to actually get out of it. It's all within, would you say, walking distance?
Absolutely. So I always say that walk the talk. So I work there, I live there, I eat there, I work out there, I do everything over there. So really, that gives me a feel of where we're at in our transition. And this is what a lot of people are doing now.
Mixed developments are quite new to the Saudi market. We have not had it before. We rarely had apartments, and otherwise our housing community is more separated villas. So how do you see the trend changing? How are people adapting to this mindset?
So basically what we're trying to do at KAFD is to create what we call vertical open living. Mm-hmm. And that means moving out of compounds and into more open communities and more vertical communities. And really, that's the transition that we're seeing happening across Riyadh with the new developments that are coming in. And in order to be able to do that, you've got to be able to provide all of the lifestyle experiences that people need. So when you're talking about lifestyle experiences, you've got someone working in an organization. Mm-hmm. They need a gym. They might need sports facilities like paddle tennis, for example. Right. They need F&B, but not everything high-end. So you really need to be able to mix it. You need coffee shops, you need mid-range, you need high-end. But that same thing applies to residents. Residents need a lot more. Right. And when I say more, it's everything from what do I do with my laundry? Who's going to clean my apartment?
Absolutely.
Concierge services. So we're creating that complete experience. We're adding all of these services as we speak. Which really makes it that self-contained community, which doesn't exist anywhere.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I've visited KAFD. If you have not, please feel free to go. Let's talk more about innovation and technology. I know you do like this sector. How do you see it integrating within that mixed community?
So you're talking specifically then from a hospitality
Whether hospitality or real estate.
So let's start with hospitality and why sort of technology and innovation and sustainability are very important. Mm-hmm. Now, I've got to sort of issue a disclaimer here. I've never worked in the hospitality industry.
Yes,
so I talk more from the other side of the fence, basically. Right. So let's look at how technology is revolutionizing the hospitality industry. Mm-hmm. And really, this has accelerated quite substantially post-COVID. because customers are now used to doing everything seamlessly off their phones,
Absolutely.
off their laptops,
100%.
iPads, whatever it is. So really, a few statistics here. 73% of hoteliers believe that technology will create a competitive advantage. 73%.
That's a big number.
Absolutely. The second statistic I'll quote is Hotel Tech Report said that AI will revolutionize the industry in 10 years.
In a 10 years span,
Yes.
that's nothing.
And the third thing is on AI, basically. So AI in this industry is expected to grow by about 34.2% CAGR between 2022 and 2028. So now, all of these means that the use of technology in the sector is not a good to have. To be ahead of the curve, you really need to be well ahead of using AI, using data analytics, but more importantly, personalizing, using that data to personalize. And that's where I think hotels are probably missing a point at the moment, which is, as a customer, the way I book, the way I reserve has changed substantially over the last 5 years. There's been a huge amount of disintermediation. So if you have to book a hotel room, where do you go? Do you go to the hotel website? Or do you go to booking.com or one of the equivalent?
Yeah.
And that's where I think there's a trick that's missing. How do the hotels attract their clientele to come directly to their website, for example? Customers want a contactless experience when they come to a hotel. Do you need the old reception desks with people and so on? Probably not. How do you use technology to do that? But everything from there on is to personalizing the customer's experience. You can use and you should use technology to get ahead.
Very interesting. Although Saudi is a very human-centric, I think, country, but technology does play really nicely into that. Moving away from technology, since you are taking the lead on KAFD, I'm sure you're going to have or at some point had challenges. Could you please let us know what kind of challenges for others to avoid?
So really, let's talk about what we're doing to create that smart, cognitive 10-minute city.
Yep.
We've got 48 projects that we're running at the moment.
48.
All of which are to do with smart city. Now, when I talk about smart city, it's using that same analogy as I said about the hospitality industry. We need to create that district where everything is at your fingertips. So everything from I need to come into the district, I want to know where I can park, I want to reserve my parking, I need to be guided to that parking space, I want to know where I can eat. You can reserve in a table in the restaurant through that. Right. Then you're talking about smart security. You don't want to see visible security all around. You want to feel secure. We're putting a lot of technology, so we'll have almost about 15,000 cameras, IoT devices that are actually keeping people safe and secure within the community. You're talking about smart building management. How do you manage? How do you move from reactive maintenance to preventative maintenance? How do you keep the quality of the assets as they are? And then you've got to look at sustainability, for example, or loyalty. Let's call loyalty. So we've got all of these restaurants. We probably have somewhere between 60 and 70 F&B outlets in the next two to 3 years. Now, how do we create that customer loyalty across each of those segments?
Of course.
Each of those outlets. How do we create that as KAFD? So these are all of the initiatives that we're looking at. And then let me move on a bit from technology to what we're doing in terms of sustainability, because that's very relevant to the technology, to the hospitality industry.
Absolutely.
Because the hospitality industry struggles with being truly sustainable. Now, if you look at the tourism industry, for instance, 5.8% of greenhouse gas emissions come from the tourism industry.
Unfortunately,
and that is expected to grow by about 130% over the next 10 years. So that sustainability element is extremely important. Now, we're very proud of our sustainability credentials because we're the largest mixed-use district in the world that has LEED Platinum Neighborhood District designation, and over 42 of our buildings are LEED Gold or LEED Silver, But we don't rest on our laurels. We've got several projects at the moment, everything from waste separation at source to recycling, to water recycling, to grey water recycling, to greening the district. So we're looking at all of these. Now, the hotels that we have in KAFD, and we have 3 properties that are at a very advanced stage of completion, these properties will benefit automatically from KAFD's sustainability credentials.
So you've built the infrastructure for future hotels to come in and...
Absolutely. And everything that you do, every dollar or every real that you spend has to be there to improve the customer experience.
Makes sense.
That's the fundamental reason for why we're doing all of this.
I
I said, going back to giving everything to our customers at their fingertips.
Amazing. I'm going to close this by honestly asking you this question. How do you do your leadership? You are very diversified. Your team members are absolutely on spot every time. Give us a bit of that secret sauce. What is it about your leadership that's got you to where you are today?
Hire people who are brighter than you, who are more motivated than you, and then you can go off to sleep and everything gets done.
And that's how he does it, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Thank you so much for being with us today. An absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.